Welcome to the fourth episode of the Two Guys Talking podcast. Okay, I'm sorry.
Please don't scream into the microphone.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. As I was saying, fourth episode, Two Guys Talking podcast. I'm Jesse, one of your glorious hosts.
Oh, you know why it looks like that?
Why?
I just realized I was being a dick to you. Because for some reason, I must have clicked something that made it go like 0.5 seconds instead of a second, so it's spacing this out a lot.
Oh, okay.
Not important. Ignore the stuff.
We'll edit that out.
No, we're not going to edit anything out. There's no editing capabilities.
You can't edit it at all?
I mean, I could. I don't know how.
Oh, I could do that. Just send me the file. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, here we are. Fourth episode.
Here we are. Fourth episode, Volume 1. Episode 4.
Episode 4, yes.
Mm-hmm. As many know in the business, the fourth episode defines whether you make it or break it.
It's the Lodestone episode.
The fourth episode.
Based on all of our views and listeners that we have.
The first 3 episodes, as everyone knows, are always teaser bullshit. That really has nothing to do with the plot. The fourth episode is when you really get into the meat heavy of the plot kind of thing.
Yes.
You find out who really is the bad guy and who raped little Jimmy. You finally find that out.
What are you referencing?
Nothing.
Who is little Jimmy?
Nobody. I'm not referencing anything of importance.
Okay.
So that's a good intro that I interrupted.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I couldn't sit quietly for 20 seconds.
Yeah, I know. That's how you do things.
I could not sit quietly.
It's
hey,
all right.
Before we get into anything, as a takeoff of last week's episode, we talked about Pokemon Go.
We did.
And I was sitting here in my house.
Did you catch a Pokemon?
On a Saturday, and I said, you know what? I've played a lot of Killshot Bravo today, and I'm out of energy to murder people. Which Killshot Bravo, good game. Look it up, download it.
Is it like an app?
It's an app.
Okay.
You get to be like a sniper kind of situation. And what's nice is that you get to name yourself, and I've made myself Korean and named myself Wang Ying Wong.
Nice.
And I know this is not the right backstory, but I've decided that the backstory is I'm a North Korean slowly infiltrating America.
Oh, okay.
And at the end of the game, I will finally find Barack Hussein Obama and murder him for my slave masters in North Korea.
But what about he's on his way out, man.
That's not important. I didn't get intel for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I still think it's 2008.
I mean, he has another 4 years, or 8 years, actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
technically.
I still think the Spice Girls are relevant.
Yes.
They weren't even relevant in 2008.
Wanna be.
But anyway, so I'm in the middle of waiting for lives, right, for energy, because you can buy energy. It's one of those in-app purchases games.
Yeah.
Where they're like, hey, buy this, buy this, and I don't buy anything because that's just not how I play those games. And I'm like, let's see what all this Pokemon Go rage is about, right? So I download the Pokemon Go's, and for roughly 30 minutes, I am battling with their servers to attempt to get onto it.
Yeah, they're great.
Once I finally get onto it, I again name myself Wing Yang Wong and make myself as Korean as possible in that game. And they asked me what thing, because they put the 3 things around you. I assume they do that with everybody, where it's the water, fire, and grass type.
Yeah.
I, of course, picked Charmander, right?
Oof.
He was sitting right over there on my couch, and I called him.
Yeah.
Right? You don't like Charmander?
No.
No? You're the Balthazar thing, right?
I love Bulbasaur.
Yeah. So I throw my little Pokeball at him, and I catch him. It's quite easily.
Yeah.
And then it says, now it's time to walk. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. And then all of a sudden, I realized there was like some movement over by my stairs in the grass by my stairs, which there isn't any. Yeah. But in the game, there's grass that pops up. I walked over there, and there was I was about to take Baloo out, and I saw there was a pigeon thing on that couch.
Pidgey.
And I got him.
Yeah, nice.
And then I walked outside, and there was an Eevee down that way.
Yeah.
And after I caught the Eevee, I realized, what am I doing? And I'm like, this is stupid. So I put the stuff back in my pocket, and I walked my dog, my real dog. Yeah. That's a real thing that I can touch and see in life, and not just on my phone. And I walked him, and he took a mighty dump while we were outside. I come back in. I go, let's give this another shot. So I get in there, and I think, here's how I'm going to make fun. Here's how I'm going to have fun with this game. I'm going to rename all these animals something funny, right? and I call the Charmander Flamer, and I call the Eevee the one with the big ears, and I call the pigeon Mohawk Bird. And I think I'm hilarious, and I'm having a lot of fun. And then it's like, you got to keep walking to find stuff. And I was like, I got to delete you, app. So I deleted the app right then. I took time to rename everything and then deleted the app. And then went back to Killshot Bravo. I saw that I had 2 energies left, and I went, time to murder some people. I don't have to get up to do that.
I mean, you don't. It's true.
I don't have to get up to murder, Jesse. That's the important part.
Yeah. Well, we'll just chalk it up to each their own, right?
To each their own?
Yeah.
I'm not a Pokemon Go person.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm not.
That's okay.
Yeah. So that's a takeoff of last week. But why don't we go again with the Get to Know a Podcaster?
Okay.
And episode 1 was What's Your Greatest Achievement?
Mm-hmm.
Mine was finally being who I am. It was very deep and emotional moment for me.
Yeah.
Yours was not working in the food service. Thank you
it's
for
also very deep.
Thank you for nothing. Thank you for nothing. I feel like I say that every episode to you. Thank you for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, yeah.
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 As I step all over everything you say.
I'm essentially the whipping boy.
Essentially,
podcast,
yeah.
So it's okay.
Then the second episode was stranded on an island.
Oh yeah.
What 3 things? You were very serious and contemplative about it. We got to know a little about you. I shit all over my own question.
Yeah, you made absolutely nonsense of it. So.
So then I ruined that one,
Yeah,
right?
good times.
So
good
we both
times.
have one that we ruined. And then last week you had one, which is how have you changed, or have you changed at all from when you were younger to now? And we both said that we have. I think you maybe a little bit more dramatically than I.
Yeah.
And that's in political views and views in the world.
Yeah.
Do you have a question that you think you'd want to pose this week?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
You can't really think of one?
No.
All right, so I'm going to think of one. If you, first of all, would you ever get a tattoo?
Yeah, absolutely.
You would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you could get any tattoo you wanted,
Yeah.
price is no object. The tattoo artist is going to waive the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what tattoo you'd get and where? So money's no object, meaning no matter how big you get it, no matter how long it takes, they're not going to charge you.
So I guess I have an idea for kind of like a sleeve eventually.
So the whole thing's free.
Okay. And that's gonna have like a kind of like a writing theme. Like I have like an idea. There's this cool tattoo of a raven I found that's like reading a book, and then I was gonna get like Cthulhu on my shoulder.
Sure. The mighty demon god.
Yes, of course. Can't go on without him. And I haven't really fleshed it out too much. I was thinking about getting like maybe a quill or like Shakespeare or something on there.
Mm-hmm. Shakespeare's bulbous head upon your arm.
Exactly. But yeah, I haven't really I have to think of more ideas and stuff. I don't want to just like pick random shit. It'd be kind of like a years-long process for me.
You want it to mean something, of course.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I don't want to just like take down. I mean, granted, the Raven reading a book. I mean, Edgar Allan Poe is one of my favorites.
He is really.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I find his stuff really sad. I guess that ties into a lot of the parts of this episode. Volume 1 should be named Jesse's Sad Time.
Jesse's Sad Times. No, I mean, I don't know. I was really into like classic horror stuff. I'm still into classic horror stuff.
Well, who doesn't like a good classic car? I'm a big fan of like the big long boats, from like the 70s and 60s. Not an actual boat car. You're looking at me like I'm talking about a boat car. What I mean
said classic horror.
Oh, I thought you said cars. I took it to my own thing. Go ahead.
You totally heard me say horror, didn't you?
Probably.
You're an asshole. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I guess something along those lines.
At some point, people are going to wonder as they listen to this, like, what make first of all, how do they know each other, right? And secondly, what makes either of them want to spend at least an hour with each other once a week, talking in
I think it's
microphone.
for you to largely make fun of me. As for me, I just sadomasochism. Good old-fashioned sadomasochism.
Good old masochism.
Yeah. I fucking love it.
I mean, for me, I have a tattoo already.
You do?
I do.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, on my left arm because I can't get on my right arm first because that's gay, right?
Is it?
I don't know. It's just over my left arm. That's where I wanted it. It's the Buddha eyes symbol, which I got because I am the Buddha eyes is like obviously a sacred symbol of Buddhism,
Yeah.
and it's the Buddha's ability to see through people's masks and see who they really are.
What is the Buddha eyes?
The Buddha eyes?
Yeah.
It's what's on my arm.
Okay.
Do you need to see it?
I think so. I don't know.
I mean, you could Google it on your phone. I could try to turn towards you, but I'm facing away from you.
That's okay.
Do you need me to like turn
No.
towards you? Because
No,
like there's
no.
gonna be silence and rustling around, and this is a podcast that no one can see. People are gonna question
Yeah, bear with
what's
me.
happening. So anyway, I got that because I am notorious for falling for people's first, mask, so to speak. Like
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that the way you're coming at me is the way you're always going to come at me. Yes, the one actually on the top right is the one that's on my arm.
Oh, cool.
So I got that for that reason of like I'm so bad at seeing through stuff that's like almost a little reminder to me of be cautious, but don't change who you are.
Yeah.
It's okay to trust and let people's masks fool you, and it's really their fault, not yours. So it's kind of like a little homage to how I end up seeing things in the world and how things end up affecting me sometimes. But if I had a choice of doing anything, I always wanted to get a thing on a piece on my back of like a very ornate throne with a crown sitting in the middle of it, because I believe I'm a king and I'm the best.
Because you are the best at
because I'm the
life.
best at life.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a joke, but I'm 100% serious about that.
Yeah.
100% serious about it. Originally, I had wanted to get a back piece that had my last name on the top of it, arching, like at a football jersey type thing.
Yeah,
I'd get a number on my back, so I'd be like, I'm wearing a jersey all the time. Ha, yeah. And then I realized how dumb that was.
Yeah.
And then I
See, I
decided
never could get into the last. I guess I kind of get like the last name to an extent. I always thought the back ones were kind of stupid, and I always thought like they always have like the Jesus hands praying with like the rosary last name sort of thing.
Well, you got to have Jesus pray for you. You got to believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
It's about God coming down and saving you.
Yeah. Well, that's what tattoos are about.
Yeah,
Totally.
Jesus. Well, mine's about Buddha, so I shouldn't say too much. Mine's a religious figure. So that's anything else they should know about us right now? We can just move on. We'll just move on.
Yeah.
We don't have much to say.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's just move on from
Yeah.
that. All right, so this week's topic is going to be something that's currently still happening. So it's fresh in the news.
Ooh.
And by the time this gets posted on Friday, because today's Wednesday, and I don't get around to actually finishing up and posting this till Friday, which I should work a little harder on and get out quicker, but I'm not ever going to do that.
So yeah.
So whatever, right?
Yeah, fuck it.
But it's going on right now in Cleveland, and then that's the RNC, the Republican National Convention, and of course they're in the midst of officially electing Donald John Trump as their president.
Is his middle name actually John?
His middle name is John. Yes,
Right.
they said it a bunch of times last night when I was watching.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So I've watched. Now I watched some of Mondays. I watched a lot of Tuesdays, and now I haven't watched any todays because I kind of got into watching the WWE Network and I got lost in things. So,
Yeah.
too bad. I'm sure today's was just as riveting as yesterday's.
Yeah.
But you had when we were talking about this before, you had said like, what really is the convention?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a common question
Well-
for people, because what really is the any of them?
You
The
know,
DNC, the RNC, what really is that?
Yeah, and I probably need a history refresher, like government refresher, what have you. But I get pretty much from what I understand, it's kind of like I said before, the circle jerk of their respective parties.
Right, dick licking. It's
Yeah.
it's a self gratification dick licking of everybody that of the people that won the primaries for those parties. You have the Trump on the one side, Clinton's going to be on the other side.
Yeah.
Her stuff's going to come. The DNC in Philly, which is in like I want to say September or August. Not 100% sure. Not 100%. Not important either.
Yeah. But regardless.
Right, so there's a lot of different speakers and talks and people basically riling up their own party. And I'm sure it probably stems from, and I could be wrong, and I should maybe do some more research on it before we start talking about it, but I would assume this stems from, like, you want to rile up your base and rile up your local party and your delegates and your people to go out and vote for you. You know, now you've elected a person that's going to run for president from your party, and you want to make sure your base and everybody's galvanized.
And now they're going to go out with the lynching parties and raping the Muslims and the homosexuals.
And the Jews.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, Jews.
Listen, I know Jews. I've known Jews my entire business life. I work with them all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know the best Jews,
Yeah,
too, right?
I know the best Jews in the business.
I know the best Jews. The most Jewy Jews.
I gotta say, actually, after the whole Melania or whatever the fuck you pronounce it, that whole scandal with the speech.
The speech. So that was Monday night, the first night, right?
Yeah. So I was on Twitter, and there's this. I saw Donald Trump's face, which is pretty common on the Twitterverse, and it said something along the lines of, "How dare Michelle Obama cheat with her speech? She used all the best words."
Yeah.
And I thought that was like, honest to God, like tweet from Donald Trump himself.
It could have been.
I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, no, there's no way this guy is just that ridiculous. Like, no fucking way.
Right. No, there's.
It was a parody account then, but it got me. That's
the sad thing, though. The sad thing is that you can sit there and think, oh, is he really, like, you have a moment where you're not 100% sure of, like, is this really happening?
Yeah, I mean, he does tweet some pretty fucking ridiculous
because
shit.
Normally you have people in those kind of roles like politicians, and they tweet, and you see like a ridiculous random tweet from somebody from an account with like their picture, and you're like, okay, that's clearly a fake account because they would never, ever, say something like that. Mm-hmm. And with Trump, like you said, you have to like look at it and be like, okay, I need to research this a little bit because he might have said that because it sounds so ridiculous. And I mean, that just goes back to the thing that we've said already a couple times about, and I've said personally about, I don't understand how anybody, can vote for him, let alone the fervor with which I saw last night. People, tell everyone that they wanted to vote for Trump, because one of the things they do, when they were doing last night anyway, was doing the official delegate count. So finally, officially electing, so to speak, I guess that's the best way to put it, or officially nominating, I guess that's better, nominating Donald J. Trump for the Republican Party candidate for the president of the United States. Yeah. So what they do is they go around to each state and they like say, okay, your turn. Obviously they go alphabetical, right? Yeah. And they're going down through it, and they're saying all these things.
This is a measure of the delegates, you said?
This is a measure of the delegates. So let's say, for instance, they go to like...
are these just delegates that are like in favor of Trump, right?
No, they say all of them. They count everything. They're counting everything. Okay. So they stand up and they'll say like first the Madam Secretary, the Secretary of the committee will stand up and say, okay, well now we're at the great state of New Orleans, which is not a state, Louisiana, and they have, I don't know if this is right, 34 delegates. Yeah. And of those delegates, 14 are pledged to Donald Trump, right? Yeah. So pledged delegates, she says out loud ahead of time because everybody knows what those are. Pledged delegates are things that have already been cast and done. So they'll say that many or whatever. Now, we know, going in how many they have. Like, you could do this yourself. It's easy, simple stuff. Everything's already been tallied. He's going to get enough votes. He's already done it. He is the presumptive Republican candidate. It's just this is the process to go through to officially nominate him for that spot.
Now, at what point did they all pull out their dicks?
There's actually... there was a lot of, if they would have, there would have been a lot of lady balls on television because there's a lot of ladies announcing these things. Really? Okay. So like the two best parts for me.
Was Sarah Palin there?
I don't believe she was.
Oh, damn
but
it.
That brings me actually. I'll change it. There's three best parts that I had when they were doing this. So the first one is as they're going through the states, they get to New York and they say, New York with 96 delegates, 87 of which are pledged delegates to Donald Trump, and then they let them talk. And New York says some stuff about, how great New York is, right? First city to, I don't know, the Big Apple. They talk, oh, wait, they call themselves the Empire State. And then they go, and then the guy stops, stares at his microphone, not a camera, which is right in front of him, and says, pass. Like, the dickiest way he possibly could muster up the word pass. And apparently, I was like, why did they pass? Right? And apparently the reason they passed is because they know that that Donald Trump is gonna get the amount of delegates needed. So it's the tradition that whatever state you're from, which he's from New York, that state puts you quote unquote over the top. So what happens is people just keep going and pledge their delegates and pledge their delegates. It just so happens Pennsylvania is the one that gets cut off. Because Pennsylvania starts. They go to Pennsylvania, and the guy who's the representative for Pennsylvania starts talking. He goes, I would like to
Keystone State.
Yield my time. He doesn't even say anything, really. Right? To the great state of New York and their representative, whoever it was, right?
Yeah.
So they go back there, and then this guy again says some facts about New York. Same guy.
Great fucking Rubens.
Talks about the Empire State, and then yields his time to Donald J. Trump Jr., who is the one who officially announces the delegate count for everybody. And, like, Cruz got some people and whatever, and it ended up being, like, that was enough to put him over the top. And they had a little weird celebration, and there was dancing and singing and whatever. And it was just weird to
They
me.
even brought Tiffany Trump out for the occasion.
It was weird to me. And then, like, as I'm flipping through the channels between CNN and Fox and whatever, I see as I'm watching MSNBC, clearly a news reporter from CNN, because it's all over her microphone, interviewing Donald J. Trump Jr. on the floor. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I want to hear what he's saying. So I flip over there, and I shit you not, Donald J. Trump Jr. is on the verge of all-out bawling about his dad getting elected or nominated to be president.
Is he like that stoked on it?
He's like, this is no longer a campaign. This is a movement. This is a movement we feel in our hearts. There are too many people in this country that have been downtrodden. It's amazing. The amount of people that have come out in support of my father. And he starts welling up with tears.
For our viewers at home, I just rolled my eyes.
So, like, it's that whole thing, that whole moment to me was just a fantastic moment of, like, you know, gravitas and self like, oh yay me, right?
Did you start saying build that wall?
Right. It was crazy, right?
Build that wall.
The next one of the three things, which was great, was of course North Dakota comes after New York.
Okay.
All right, and so here's what's like. Remember when I said like New York was talking about how like they did all this stuff. Yeah. Most places would say something like first state in the union to do this, or last state in the union to do this, or only state in the union for this year to meet this economic standard, or one of them was like the only state this year to meet and pass all educational goals set forth. You know, all this stuff that's like really good about the state, amazing. Yeah. And they get to North Dakota, and the guy just says, North Dakota, state of the 5-time current defending FCS champions, North Dakota State Bison, and current defending champion of Division I men's hockey, North Dakota State Sioux Fighting Indians. Like that's what he says, right? And then he goes on to say they elect Trump. So really what that guy got up and said was North Dakota, football, hockey, Trump, Jesus, I'm out.
I mean, it is North Dakota though, to be fair. I mean, what else do they really have going for them?
Yeah, it was just mind blowing. Like he didn't say anything about like, hey, we did let's pat ourselves in the back because we did this actual cool thing that matters in society. No, he's like, football is important, and not even the best football. The football below the football you normally watch on television.
Now, was that like college football or?
That's like college football. That's so the FBS is like your Ohio States and your Marylands and this he's talking about is the division beneath that division.
Okay, so like the shittier college football.
The shittier college.
Okay.
They used to be called Division I and Division II, but they've changed it to FBS, which is Football Bowl Championship Series or whatever. And then FCS, which is Football Championship Series, which means they do a bracket.
Gotcha.
But even though the FBS now does a bracket too, which makes no sense.
So it's just the lesser of the...
Is the shittier of the two football programs.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And that's what they're touting in North Dakota.
And then like the Sioux Indians.
Fighting Indians.
Fighting Indians. Is that like the Hershey Bears?
What's that?
Is that like the Hershey Bears?
No, that's like a Division I, like the
NHL?
best hockey team that you in college. It's college.
Oh, okay.
The best hockey team you can get in college.
Okay.
So it is like your. That's where your Ohio States and Marylands and all that stuff normally is, but like nobody cares about hockey unless you're.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure the fucking
school.
Penguins won.
Yeah, right. So that happens. I wish they would have just said North Dakota, home of 4 people, all vote for Trump. Woo, 4 people.
Actually, I almost moved to North Dakota. Did I tell you that? Yeah.
5 people.
One of them voting for fucking Gary Johnson, probably.
Why did you almost move to North Dakota? For
Uh,
reasons?
It was actually before I got the job where I work now. It was like during they had that whole like oil boom thing.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of jobs, and I could have gotten the one up there, but
Oh, yeah.
it was just
Being an oil man on an oil rig.
no. It was actually
Come home to your wife, Stephanie, and your 3 children, all named Billy Ann.
beat all of them.
Oh, my God. Start with a rape joke. Now we're here.
You started with a rape joke.
I did. The raping little Jimmy thing.
Yeah, raping little Jimmy.
You weren't even paying attention.
No,
You didn't even
but-
listen to me. Where's our relationship going? You don't even listen to me
listen to
anymore.
me.
Huh?
You
You
don't
spend all your
listen to
time on
me.
that fucking oil rig. You don't even listen to me anymore.
Damn it, Stephanie. Hit. Anyway, drink. I digress. But yeah, no. And then I was actually looking at moving to Fargo because it was supposed to be one of the cooler towns up there. But
Because there's a movie about it.
yeah, more or less too. It's the only thing I knew from North Dakota.
Because there's a movie.
Oil, Fargo. Weird accents.
And now you know fighting engines.
Fighting engines.
And then the third thing that happened that was weird, I was watching it last night, is they go through this whole fucking rigmarole of like, oh, Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, a representative from Alaska stands up and goes, yeah, hey, hi, from Alaska. We contest the vote. We don't believe our votes were counted right. Right? And he doesn't make the fart noise. He just talks, right?
Are you sure?
I am positive. And they start, you see there's a lot of activity on stage. And again, I'm flipping between these channels because I want to get equal coverage because that's the only way you can do it is flip the channels furiously.
Yeah.
And every single channel is saying the same thing. Drama on the floor as Alaska contests vote, right? And they're trying to explain it to you and tell you what's going on and blah, 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 blah. And then like 15 minutes passes and they just stop addressing it. They just move on, and
Nice.
the first speaker comes out. And granted, the first speaker comes out late because that delayed everything, right?
Yeah.
But they don't really address like what happened. They don't go, "Oh no, we did count it right. Fuck you, Alaska," or they don't go like, "Like we don't care," or they don't go like, "Oh, we recounted them. We were wrong, and like this is the actual."
So
amount.
is that like the secret like Democrat like mole there? Like, wait.
Well, I don't think so. I think what's happening in the Republican Party is that there are legitimate states and people and delegates that are at that thing, and I've seen them before. I watched a little bit of the Morning Joe one morning on MSNBC, and they had a person on there that was an actual delegate from an actual state and that's Republican.
Yeah.
That's there because all the
No, are
delegates are supposed
delegates
to be
just
there.
like random people?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes they're important people, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
I don't even honestly like. I should admit, there you go. I should have done more research about that. I don't know how you become a delegate.
I'm gonna become a delegate.
I don't even know how you would do it.
I'm doing it.
But anyway, some of these delegates I've seen the Morning Joe thing have voiced loudly their opinions during these things that they don't want Donald Trump as their representative. They don't want, it's not that they hate Republicans. It's not that they're Democrats. And it's not that even this person explained, she said, it's not that I'm going to vote for Hillary Clinton. I have no desire to vote for her.
Yeah.
I just have less of a desire to see this
Well,
guy
I
run
think
my
there's.
party.
I mean, there's a pretty big split. I mean, even in both parties. I mean, for instance, like me, like I'm a registered Democrat.
Ooh. I'm a registered Republican.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you vote in the primaries?
No.
Okay.
I'm a registered Republican for one reason known to Jesse, and that's my brother. My brother is a Republican, and what he does for a living is politically related.
Isn't he a whip?
Related. He is the deputy aide to the majority whip of the House Senate
Jesus Christ.
in the state of Pennsylvania.
I mean, my future brother-in-law, he works for a Republican senator.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Right. Yeah. Well, this is my actual brother, so I do care,
that's
right?
true.
So I know at some point he has aspirations to gain office, and there may be a time where I need to vote for him in a primary situation. And the only way I can do that in the state of Pennsylvania is if I'm registered in the party which he is going to run in, which he will always run as a Republican because he believes in those tenets and believes Ronald Reagan is the man.
Oh, really?
So he will be always one of those things.
Why don't we have him on the podcast?
Because he would never come on here.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No.
Why?
Because he has more things to do with his life that are self-respecting than to sit here and listen to two assholes tell him that they know what they're talking about.
That's a good point. We really are.
When we
fucking
don't know what
clueless.
we're talking about.
Good times. Good to, we don't even know what a fucking delegate is.
Yeah, we don't even know. Like, he might have left at that point. I'm like, that's good. Thanks for having me. You guys ruined everything. Like, why would he come on here? If he does have political aspirations, this is going out online, right?
Oh, touche.
Now, granted, nobody would ever probably get a hold of this, but if they do, they're like, why would you go on that fucking show?
So you say that, and then someone from TMZ pulls it up.
Yeah. TMZ, the
Fucking
vultures of the internet.
bastards.
Sons of bitches.
Anyway, so
that was the three things I thought was, for me watching it last night anyway,
Yeah.
were interesting. Obviously, the Melania Trump, which you got into a little bit, is also interesting, of like stealing, blatant stealing of Michelle Obama's speech.
Yeah, and I just think it's funny, like, all, like, the Republicans fucking swarm to, whoa, fucking Obama, he copied 2 speeches in 2007. Like, he said the, and the other person said the. That's not blatant plagiarism.
Right. I mean, I've seen a couple of those things, and I will tell you this. One of the ones I saw was word for word for like 3 or 4 words.
Really?
And then the main tenet of it was the same, right? It definitely was.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that it wasn't, but if you don't think that people copy people all the time, like the greatest evidence, the greatest analogy I can give you of that is, like, I remember watching one time, this is going to make me sound so stupid. Like, I as I'm about to say it, I realize this is not helping me prove my point.
Just edit this part out.
But I'm watching a South Park episode, and it's the one episode where Butters is freaking out because the Simpsons did it, and you know that one.
Yeah,
and like I think Chef finally breaks it to him, like, yeah, the Simpsons did this before, but like before the Simpsons, this thing did it, and before them, this thing did it, and before them, this thing did it.
Yeah.
Like, everything is copied because everything has kind of been done already.
Yeah.
And not that you can't have any original ideas. You can have original ideas, but portions of it are going to sound like something someone else did or said or whatever.
There's a phrase that says, like, the same story has been told, like, 1,000 times or something like that. I mean,
well, of course it has.
I mean, you really can't, like, if you think about any sort of, anything with a plot, really, it's happened.
Right. I mean, that's something I feel like you got to get over. I mean, you and I are both aspiring writers in different ways. And I think both of us, I don't know about you, but I know I had to get through that myself. Of like, I was so entranced with making something original that the moment that I thought of something that I thought was original, I was so excited. Yeah. And then I ended up finding something a lot like it. And I'm like, well, now I can't do that because it's too much like this. It's too similar.
Yeah, the same thing. So this is, I'll piggyback off your stupidity with the South Park comment. So, like,
thank you.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I love classic horror, right?
Uh-huh. Classic cars, got it.
Yes, classic fucking cars.
Good, got it. So, classic cars.
Yeah, classic horror.
Cars.
Anyway. So I was really big into, like, vampire, werewolf stuff, right?
Yep, 64 Ford.
Yep, you got it. You're listening to everything I'm saying. And
this is it's payback for the "I respect you as a person" comment.
You're really mad about that, aren't you? Anyway. So
vampires, werewolves, 64 Fords, got it. We're on the same
page.
So
I always loved that stuff, and I came up with this whole fucking, like, story and world and shit like that. I thought was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then Twilight came out.
Yeah.
And fucked me.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, because
you had glittering vampires and shit.
No.
Because that was, I gotta tell you what, man, I could go on a whole 2-hour-long rant about how I hate Twilight.
I hate Twilight too. Not a fan at all. The writing was terrible.
It frustrates the shit out of me that they're like, so vampires, sunlight makes them glitter like fairies. Yeah. And also, they're not allergic to garlic. And silver does hurt them, but wouldn't silver hurt anybody if they stabbed you with it?
Pretty much.
Like, I mean, I get it, right? Because I get the joke of like, oh, will a stake hurt you if I put it through your heart? And the joke in the book and in the movie is like, well, wouldn't that kill you? That'd kill anybody.
I mean, if you stab a stake through anyone's heart, they would die.
Right. So, like, it's just so dumb. And it doesn't make any sense to me if you're that strong. Like, if you're that strong and that powerful, why isn't every president glistening in the sun as they give a speech? Because they should all be vampires.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
But then
every engine
yeah.
would be a werewolf. Because apparently werewolves only come about when engines are like, there's too many of those goddamn vampires around here. Time to become a dog. Vampires. Time to become a dog. Go dog form.
Dog form. No, it pissed me off because that came out, and then there was like 6,000 other things.
Yeah, rip-offs of it, because it comes out, it gets popular, and then people rip it off. That's how you make money.
Done so much. So, I mean,
so
maybe.
What was yours about? You want to grow into it at all?
Kinda.
Grow into it is what I said?
So,
go into it?
Keep in mind I was like
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, you called it 15 when I like kept this down. So it was still kind of like immature. But basically, like, there was this kid named Ivan who got bit by a werewolf. Because I was like werewolves more than vampires.
Well, I feel like that's every guy is more into werewolves than vampires.
Yeah, I would agree.
Vampires is more like a girly thing. Werewolves is more like the manly thing.
No, because then you see like the goth kids like fucking shaving their fucking teeth down to points and shit.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with that girly thing.
Yeah,
that doesn't make it any different.
Anyway,
goths are girls.
goths are all female.
Knobby need females.
Anyway, yeah, kid gets bit by a vampire, gets exiled to this island of sorts.
Bit by vampire or bit by werewolf?
Sorry, bit by werewolf.
You already screwed the story up.
Yeah, I fucked it all up. Bit by werewolf, exiled to island where there's werewolves and vampires as well, with significantly less vampires, and hijinks ensue, essentially.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but it was more of a... I mean, it wasn't as urban as...
It's a coming-of-age story.
In a way, yeah.
A young gentleman who was bitten by a beast.
Yeah. Hey, you have an automatic restart schedule.
Uh-oh. At 8:27. Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and close that. Because that's not good. That's going to happen in the middle of this, huh? Well, let's hope that doesn't happen while we're doing this.
Yeah,
It's going to, though. So we're going to have to end the podcast in 14 minutes.
Okay.
Good
Anyway.
job. Good job, us. What I could do...
You can reschedule,
What I could do is... How do I reschedule? It just said close. I can't reschedule it.
No, there's a way.
It didn't give me a reschedule button.
I'm sure that...
You're the IT guy.
Yeah, well, I'd have to tinker around with it.
Tinker around?
Yeah, click on that big-ass question mark.
Yeah, the big-ass question mark takes me to HP thing.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to go there. I already did it. I already clicked on it.
Don't click on the big-ass question mark, then.
You already clicked on it.
Find something that says something about your... Are we really going to talk about this one?
Yeah, we are really going to talk about this. Shut up. I don't know how to do it, man. We are really going to talk about it on the podcast. Deal with it.
While we're doing that, can we talk about the Republican National Convention?
Yeah, go for it, man. I don't give a fuck. I mean, what we could do very easily is pause this, restart the computer, and pick this right back up where we left off.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have to then save it. That's the thing.
Okay.
I mean, that should work.
Did you pause it?
I didn't pause it, no.
Okay.
This feels like a really, it's like organic, This is an organic thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And we're all learning from it. Our listeners, who are none of them, I don't feel bad because nobody listens to this. I don't feel bad.
I'm trying to figure out a way to get it out to people's eardrums, but...
Oh, yeah? So back to the RNC. And look, it created another thing down there, but on the same time, I wonder if I can splice those together.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Hopefully, anyway.
Hopefully, because we fucked this up all kinds.
Yeah, it's
all kinds of sideways since Tuesday.
It's pretty fucked.
In
Yeah.
its butt.
Yeah.
All right, so RNC still going on. While we were restarting the computer there for a second, we got to watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, it was good times.
No, it wasn't. Nothing really happened. It's interesting. You just asked me the question about, does my brother support Donald Trump? And I don't want to speak for him because he's not here. But I would tell you that, for almost 100% sure, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Is
he going to vote for him though?
See, that's a difficult question. I can't tell you that he won't because I know he despises Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit here and tell you that there's no reason not to despise that woman. I mean, she obviously has done not good things in her life, and we've talked about this. So I think it was episode 1. I talked a little bit about how I don't respect her for a lot of reasons. One of which is the way she handled that whole Bill Clinton cheating on her thing, which was obvious. I didn't like the way she did that. That was just me, though. That's my personal opinion. There's people that, and there's even something to be said about a woman who stands by her man no matter what, kind of thing, right? There's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
But me personally, I didn't like it. So I don't like either candidate. I mean, I couldn't. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody on either campaign throughout the entire primary race that I was going to vote for.
Really?
Really,
Yeah.
really. I mean, the only person that I really ever listened to and didn't hate immediately, didn't end up not liking for some reason, was Kucinich. And I like him even more now since the stuff that's going on since Trump got elected.
Do you mean Kasich?
Kasich, not
Yeah.
Kucinich. That's an older guy.
So you didn't feel the burn?
No, I don't like Bernie Sanders. And you know
Why?
why? This is the dumb. You ready for the dumbest reason ever? Right?
Shoot.
He looks old and crazy to me. And a lot of the memes where he's shaking his finger, right?
He is old and crazy.
I don't want some old man, right, rolling up into China or some stuff and going, ooh, shaking his finger at
Let
some
me tell you something.
foreign dignitary. Well, he's trying to he's demanding lentil soup in a foreign country. You don't have lentil soup? Everyone has lentil soup.
Where's the tapioca pudding bar?
Yeah, so I can't.
Yeah.
I don't like him. That's a dumb reason because I don't actually know any of his viewpoints.
The whole thing
honestly.
about Bernie is that I liked him. I thought he said good things, and I definitely agreed with a lot of the stuff that he said, and I still agree with a lot of the stuff that he said. But then there came to a point where I was like, there is no way in hell he is going to get the Democratic nominee.
So you stopped following because he was.
It's
he
just
was
not going to
doomed
happen.
to failure.
No, not at all. So I was like, there's no way in hell he's going to get the Democratic nominee. I really don't see him going independent on this one. I think he's going to cave, which he did. He ended up
Ultimately
caving.
did.
Yeah, and it pisses me off about that. And actually, I'll make a point here too.
Point of order.
Is that he was all like, oh, Hillary is the problem with America and all this crazy shit, and and I largely agree with him that politicians like Hillary are a good problem with America. I don't think fucking Donald Trump is the solution.
Well, I don't think anybody thinks Donald Trump is the solution. At least I would hope so.
You would be quite surprised, my friend.
Yeah. Maybe I would be. I don't know.
But, and then, he's endorsing her, which, it's the political thing to do. It's absolutely the tactful thing to do.
Well, he has to do it.
But, it's hypocrisy. And that's the way the system is. His whole issue with it is.
What if what he would have said is he would have came out and said, look, I'm going to throw my support behind her, not because I agree with her politics or her views. In fact, I would tell you that I would still rather want myself over top of her. But if you're going to give me the choice of her or Donald Trump, I would easily choose her. And I'm getting my support behind her because I want the people that have supported me so staunchly and greatly for all these months and over a full year, I guess. Yeah. To get behind her and make sure that in November we don't have Donald J. Trump as president. Make sure, as much as we maybe and I don't want to see her in the presidency, if you're going to give me the choice between a turd on my front lawn or a flaming turd on my front lawn, I'll take just the turd.
And, I would respect that. And to be honest, he might have even said that, but I didn't follow
I'm
enough.
pretty sure he probably didn't talk about flaming turds on front lawns.
But the whole thing with it is, I don't know. And I would feel a little bit better with it. I'm still not hugely happy with his decision to full go balls to the wall with it, but regardless. And then something funny I read the other day. Do you know that both of the Clintons were at Donald Trump's most recent wedding to Miss Melania Trump?
I do know that.
Yeah. How fucking weird must that be?
Well, did you know that he has given money to Hillary 2 different times to run for president, and gave money to Bill Clinton 3 different times to run for president?
Yeah.
He was a campaign donor.
Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be the one running against her. And calls her crooked Hillary and all this stuff.
That must be weird because at some point,
not for him apparently.
I'm not going to say they were friends by any means, but they were definitely friendly.
They knew of each other in a friendly, cordial
they
tone.
They went to his wedding. He had to have at least been like, "Oh, hey guys, Bill, Hillary, it's good to see you."
Right. Well, he doesn't care. That man is out for one thing and one thing alone, and that's power.
Yeah.
He's out for power. He's out for himself. It wouldn't matter if he was running against a baby, right? that could talk, but could only talk in like baby talk, right? And never has done anything wrong in its entire baby life, right? And the only thing that could maybe be considered, and you know what else it did? It balanced the budget of Oregon twice, right? In its short little life. He would still attack that thing as if it was the spawn of Satan. He'd be like, babies can't balance budgets. What the fuck?
I think that baby's hiding something.
Right, that baby's got to be hiding something. Somebody's helping it balance that budget.
I think that's crooked Hillary Clinton with all her emails.
Right, so, like, I don't know, man, she's...
I
understand what you're saying. It's just
hypocritical.
Like,
I don't know.
I understand what you're saying about being hypocritical, but, I mean, would you think it would be any different if what you knew he said was something along the lines of what I just said? Would you think that'd be different for you?
What do you mean?
Like if he's saying along the lines of like, I know I'm
talking
not going to
Bernie?
win. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought we were still talking about the whole Donald Trump thing.
No, well, the hypocritical thing of Donald Trump.
It would probably be, and I can't, like, I get it. I understand why he did it. I'm just not happy with it. I'll get over it, I'm sure.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it doesn't, I don't, what the fuck?
It
Bernie's not going to be like Jesse,
yeah.
like, come on, man, like, you fucking get, it's going to be okay.
Before you say it doesn't affect you, all this definitely affects you.
No, it affects me, but I guess I don't affect it, really, like, minus my vote.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Like, Bernie Sanders doesn't give a fuck how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you the only thing that I really, really, really wish about politics is that people would actually, for once, come together and like make their voice heard. And I am not saying that would ultimately change the direction of what is going to end up happening, right? Because of the delegates, super delegates, how that stuff actually breaks down. You know what you're actually voting for. You're not actually, you don't know, right? But the popular vote is of public record. So you get to know who people voted for. Now, not who you specifically voted for, but I get to know in this county, 60% of this county, which turns out to be this many exact voters, voted for this thing, right? I get to know that, and you can know that with a point and click of a button on the Googles or whatever, right? You can easily know that within a day of the election. My point about that is I hope that sooner or later enough of us get together and say, like, enough's enough, right? And if 20 million people vote for one thing, and that's not, I know from watching elections before, that's not enough to elect a president. You need, like, I think the last time was 60 or 80 million was the vote for somebody. Anyway.
Sounds about right.
So, like, 20 million people get together, which is completely impossible that 20 million people feel the same way I'm about to say. Yeah. And get together and vote their actual minds and take the time out of their day, which might be busy,
but that'll never
to vote
happen.
With their mind and their heart for once. It might start making a difference because then these people, these politicians are going to say, okay, well, maybe those people didn't matter now, but if we can get to all those people and still keep some of the people we have, we're a juggernaut. Because that's 20 million people right there who just showed us they're willing to vote.
I think once, and I will, people call me naive, people call me stupid and stuff like that all the time whenever I say that I just, I actually vote for the candidate I would like to be elected.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too. My brothers told me before I threw my vote away. Yeah. Because I voted for a Green Party person a couple times.
Yeah, and I fucking drives me crazy. But I think the thing with it is, and I mean, it happens really with anything. Once enough people actually vote for, like, Gary Johnson or fucking the Green Party candidate whose name always escapes me.
You have a phone right there. You could easily look it up. You
just
looked up the Buddha eyes in like 2 seconds.
I'm not going to do it. It's Dr. something.
Dr. Evelyn Albright.
You're making that up.
That's not right. I'm making that up. Yeah. That's a fake name.
Anyway, I think once somebody says, oh, shit, like, because I think at a certain point, did they have to get like 5% of the vote and then they get a convention, right?
Yeah, right. They get. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the rule is about getting a convention. 5% of the vote or not, some nonsense like that. I feel like you can put a convention on whenever the hell you want.
Jill Stein.
I think that might have been who the person was last time.
No, yeah, it's Jill Stein.
No, I mean, I'm saying
I think Green Party.
It might have been the exact same person in 2012.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I think it was.
But I think once, like, I feel like once one of them gets, like, 20% of the vote, people will be like, oh, shit, we don't have to keep on voting Republican or Democrat because there's more than one party, which apparently just escapes us all.
Right. Which escapes us all. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, It's not that I don't, but...
You just agreed with me not that long ago. confused.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm looking at something online right now. It's hard for me to do two things at once because I'm stupid.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's fair.
I apologize.
It's all right.
Oh, holy shit. The Green Party does have presidential primaries. And Jill Stein did win Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Good for her. Good for her. Looks like she's been nominated multiple times. She's the current member of Lexington Town Meeting in the 2nd District, whatever that means. Jesus. Oh, she went to Harvard.
Oh, yeah, she's super duper fucking smart.
She was the nominee for president in 2012, so she was the one I voted for in 2012.
Oh.
Isn't that nice of me to know that stuff? I don't
It
know
is.
shit about her, and I voted for her in 2012. That right there says a lot about the American voter in and of itself. I'm sitting here talking about how we need to expand our horizons and shit, and I'm like, I voted for this person I know nothing about. Right?
Yeah.
Because I saw there was a woman, and then there was a doctor name in front of it. And I was like, ooh,
Dr. Woman.
Dr. Woman. That reminds me of Dr. Medicine Woman. A check, please.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Right. Sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
I mean, politics as a whole is sad. And I mean, it's hard for me to... We already went down this rabbit hole in episode 1. I don't want to drag this out too much longer. Plus, I don't know how much this episode is going to make it to air.
Yeah, we'll see. That might be kind of dicey.
It's a dicey one.
Yeah.
Maybe we just take a week off.
Let's just air this one next week.
This is the lost episode.
The lost. When we're rich and famous.
When we're rich and famous. So let's just wrap this up a little early. I know we're at 51 minutes, but we might as well wrap it up.
Yeah, might as well.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't really got too much more to say about the RNC, honestly.
Yeah.
And politics just makes me sad because the more I talk about it, the more I realize that what I ultimately want, I'll never get.
True.
You know? And then you were saying stuff that I was agreeing with me and I could have expanded on, but I instead was looking at my phone. Now I feel bad
No, it's okay.
about ignoring you.
No, it's
I
all
do.
right.
I feel terrible.
You know, you can't always get what you want,
Mm-hmm.
but if you try sometimes,
Yeah.
you just might find you get what you need.
Yeah.
Melania Trump.
Melania Trump. I saw that meme where it was a bunch of stuff where my wife showed me one that said it said Melania. Where I was born? Well, West Philadelphia was where I was born and raised. And the interviewer's like, what? Like, no, nothing. Never mind. Keep continuing what you're saying. Well, on a playground is where I spent most of my days. And the interviewer was like, stop. Get out.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But anyway, it's hard for me to make fun of Melania Trump for that because she didn't. If you think for a second
Because she can
that
barely speak English.
woman wrote a fucking word of that speech. A word, not even a letter, a singular. Like, she wouldn't even have got it when a period should go here. She wouldn't even fucking know that, right? So to be mad at her for just reading something off a teleprompter that some other dipshit wrote, who we all know purposefully ripped that off. I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, I actually think the other thing's true. I think the saddest part of this is true, that the asshole that wrote that didn't know.
You don't think he knew?
I think it's the worst of the two things. If you're going to say to me, because me personally, if you're going to say to me he knew and did it on purpose, I think it's worse
If
that
he didn't know?
didn't know. Because his whole fucking job is to know.
Yeah, that is pretty much his job.
So what that tells me is that whole campaign is basically comes down to one thing which I already knew about that campaign. We don't give a shit.
I just think it's funny. The one thing I saw online that was fucking... She's like, Melania wasn't Trump's wife. Everyone up there being like, she can't speak fucking English.
Yeah.
Get her out of the goddamn country.
Get out of the goddamn country.
Tape.
We got to build a wall.
We're building a wall around this country. We're going to start. It's going to create jobs, and Mexico is going to fucking pay for it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know I didn't want to get... I said I don't want to get into it too
Sorry.
far, but I got into it.
That happens.
Just that's what I hate to say that's true, but I for some reason believe the worst thing rather than they're both bad, but I believe the worst thing is not knowing because you're paid to know, and I believe that's what happened. I believe the guy that wrote that had 0.0 idea until Monday night when the Twitterverse went, what the shit is happening?
Hey, that's a good... Oh, it sounds super familiar.
So, yeah, I believe it's the second thing that's true, which is unbelievably sad, but I think accurate. So it's time for wrap this up. What I recommend, we did watch, we did listen, we did read. So we did It's the five senses. See, speak, hear, touch. Right?
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Taste.
Oh, hey, there it is.
What we can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we recommend to eat, or where to recommend to eat, like to go and eat, or what a thing to recommend. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
We'll both tell you why Chick-fil-A is important.
Are you serious right now?
No.
Okay.
No. What, Jesse? If let's do it this way. So, what you would recommend to eat on a date?
On a
And
date?
a date you want to impress your other. Where would you recommend to go eat?
Alfred's Victorian in Middletown's really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Black and Blue.
Yeah.
Black and Blue is where I'd say to go on a date. That's me.
Mechanicsburg?
In Mechanicsburg,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Yes, this is all going to be Pennsylvania-based stuff because that's the only place I know to go.
Yeah, same.
Where would you recommend somebody to go if, like, they're a sad, lonely person and they just want some food?
Chick-fil-A.
What about Sundays?
Huh?
What about Sundays? They can't go to Chick-fil-A on Sundays.
Oh, Friendly's then.
Friendlies.
Yeah.
So sad, lonely people on Sundays go to Friendlies.
Yeah.
I have to go to Friendlies on a Sunday and see if that's true. I would say sad, lonely people should always go at least once a day to Wendy's because there's nothing that makes you sadder than down in a Baconator. And then after you down it, realizing I might be able to eat another one of those.
I feel like sad and lonely is more of a McDonald's thing, though.
Sad, lonely is a McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real.
What would you say is the best food you've ever had from a restaurant, and where was it?
Oh, God. Probably...
Silence on a podcast is not helpful.
I know. I'm just trying to think here.
Do you want me to go while you think?
Yes. Yeah, do
You're
that.
going to pass?
Yeah.
Should have done what the New York delegate did.
Pass.
Just look right at your microphone and say, pass.
Pass.
All right. I would say the best food I've ever had anywhere was, I'm going to go back to Black and Blue, where they have a blackened chicken Alfredo dish, which I believe is delicious.
That sounds delicious.
My wife's over in the corner shaking her head at me. What would you say? Not Black and Blue? What would you say is that your favorite dish you ever had? Is it Chili's? Is it Chili's-based dish? Chili's. She's saying Chili's.
One of our corporate sponsors. Good.
One of our corporate masters, Chili's. What would you say is your favorite food? If you're shaking your head, you know better. That's what I liked. That was my favorite dish I've ever had. Mexican restaurant, Oyamel. Chorizo nachos.
That sounds
That does sound pretty
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Chicky and Pete's. I thought you were gonna say Chicky and Pete's chicken salad at Atlantic City.
Well, the original is best, but
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the West Coast before?
No, I have not.
In-N-Out's fucking amazing.
In-N-Out burger?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
So you say that was the best food you ever ate? Was that In-N-Out burger?
I wouldn't say that.
You get progressively sadder with each and every episode.
I said it's not that. No, there's actually this place. I really like sushi. I don't know what your feelings are on it.
I mean, I don't hate sushi, but Fusion Fire's closed, so I can't talk about them.
Oh, they closed?
Yeah, they closed.
I don't really like them that much. To be
Yeah?
honest. Yeah.
So you're going to say them?
No.
Sushi.
There's
Go
this
ahead.
place in Cypress, California, Fish in a Bowl. Best
Okay.
sushi I've ever had.
Fish in a bowl.
Yeah. Delicious.
Cool. Well, that's some good,
Do you want to do on the next episode?
good honest feedback from you. Yeah. So we said last time we got to get more professional, and then in the middle of this episode we talked about how to restart my computer.
Yeah.
So that's less professional. And then we
Super
talked about
professional.
also afterwards when we started that we don't know if we're going to splice these together.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end it professionally by saying that next episode we already know what we want to talk about. So next episode, when we come back to you next week, we're going to talk to you about religion. We're going to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get into it hard
It's happening.
and deep. It's going to be a touchy subject, and I'm not going to stray away from it, no matter how dicey it will get in and around the holidays.
A lot of that episode.
In and around the holidays. What's that?
Probably can get super quiet a lot of that episode.
You are?
No, I don't know.
You better not.
I'll be fine.
That's what this is about. So next topic is gonna be religion. If you guys are listening to this on the YouTubes, please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe.
Please share us.
Share on the social medias. Leave us comments on this stuff about what you want us to talk about next time. We got religion coming up. What do you want us to talk about? Why is God so fake? We can talk about that. We will anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
That's probably going to happen.
But any questions you want to ask, any burning questions, what do each of us believe in? What you'll hear all this stuff anyway. But any questions about religion, your thoughts, you can bring it up. Anything you want to hear, let us know. We're open.
Do it.
We're open.
Yes.
For business.
Super open.
Open. Phrasing.
Yes.
We're both open.
Yes.
Phrasing.
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 Are we still doing the phrasing?
We're still doing phrasing. Yes.
Okay,
Are we still
good.
doing some phrasing?
Yes.
I thought we weren't doing that anymore. All right. So thank you so much for listening to this. Make sure you get it out to all your friends and family. Play Pokemon Go. Visit Chick-fil-A. Download Mumford & Sons songs. What are other? New England Clam
Chili's.
Chowder. Sheets.
Chili's.
Baby back ribs.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All their corporate masters. Visit our mothership Facebook at Sloppdawgs Worldwide. Find it on the Facebook.
Yes.
That's our mothership.
There's also a Google Plus page that no one goes to.
There's a Google Plus page. You just made a website, didn't you?
Working on that.
Working on a website?
Yeah, I'll talk
All right.
to you more about that.
We have a website coming up at some point. We'll share that with you guys. But for Jesse and I and Two Guys Talking podcast, # welcome to the network. We'll see you next time. It's all about Jesus next time.
# welcome to the network.
What would Jesus do?
And Jesus.
What would Jesus do?
Open your arms to Jesus.
Open your arms to Jesus. Thank you for listening. # welcome to the network.
Bye.
Bye. Stop up.